Hey guys, how you doing? I hope all is well. Welcome to the stream. Another COVID Friday night stream. All right, so first of all, in the chat, let me know where you guys are from. So we got Alberto from Mexico. All right, we got, what else? We got Devlin from Ohio. Nicolas from Palm Springs, excuse me. Yeah, let's go. So in the comments, let me know where you're from. It's kind of cool to know where everybody's from, and we'll get into it. While you guys are doing that, recommended books. If you're a coder and you want to up your game, refactoring book, links are below, of course. This is the Java version. There is a JavaScript version, of course. Here we go, refactoring, Martin Fowler. That's one. If you are a beginner and you want to get into coding, you can do my Studioweb, or you can get this book if you like to read. It's my book on Amazon, highly regarded. So there are the book recommendations. Links are below the stream listing. So yeah, let's see where we're all from. Brazil. We got Morocco, Philippines, Oklahoma, Ghana, Egypt, cool, Wales, Detroit, New York City, Colombia, all right, cool, man. Poland, EU, Argentina. So we got a big-time international audience. Fantastic, it's always a lot of fun. Mexico. Thoughts on .NET for web applications? It's a good platform. I was reading I was reading a bunch of comments somewhere, and they were asking why isn't .NET C# as popular as Java? Java, I guess Spring is their predominant framework these days. It's simply because Java is cross-platform. Don't have to have Microsoft servers traditionally for decades. I think .NET now you can go off of Microsoft server technology, but that was it. That's pretty much it. C# was a language that was designed after Java. It's kind of like Java++ is Microsoft C#, if you will. And it's a great language, but because traditionally .NET was a Microsoft-only platform, that was it. If you're wondering why I got all this plastic here, we're doing big renovations in the condo. This is my pied-à-terre condo, as they call it in Quebec. Well, pied-à-terre. I guess they use that term for Montreal. So I'm doing a bunch of renovations. It takes time because you know how it is these days. All right. I hope everybody is well. Yes, I am still alive. Been busy this week. From Wales, from Detroit. We got that. Argentina, Malaysia. Very cool. Boston. Never been to Boston. I hear good things. Got to go. Hi from Argentina. If I know JavaScript, TypeScript, what second language do you recommend for web development? Is C# .NET a good choice? Yeah, it's a good choice. I always tell people, look for jobs, look at the job listings in the area where you want to work and see where the demand is. Could be PHP, could be JS, Node, and Express. You are a 169-year-old developer. I am 169. I eat my vegetables and I sleep a lot, so I know I only look like I'm 22, but yeah, I am 169. How do you correctly size Bootstrap column when 4 column is too small and 5 column is too big? Can't you just play with the widths of the columns themselves? I haven't used Bootstrap in a while, personally. Stefan, the wise and ancient sensei coding dragon name for you. Exactly. How'd you know? Merci du Magran du Mondo. Doing new kitchen. Yes, I'm doing a new kitchen. It's in need of development. I'm putting in a bunch of super white quartzite for the counters, big wraparound, redoing the floors, a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah. What do you think about blockchain development? It's a worthy stuff. I think it's niche. Always let the demand dictate whether or not you jump into one thing or something or another. Crazy. Do you think that he was really born in 1852? I was. Is there a best freelance path for Python developers? I don't know. I would imagine it'd be a lot of Python web. I think you're generally speaking, if you're going to do Python for freelance, it's going to be on the web. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah. Before I forget, give me a thumbs up if you like the stream. Why? Because the Google algorithm pays attention to that. It says, hey, there's a lot of thumbs up, so these guys must like the stream. So give me a thumbs up if you do. Exactly. Hey, this guy, MTS Piaz, he knows his JavaScript ES6. Very good. True. That bokeh is sweet. Yeah, it's pretty good bokeh. All right, let's answer some questions here. Appreciate the thumbs ups, guys. Hey, Stef, what are your thoughts on becoming a freelance WordPress developer? Is there potential for a good salary? There's a lot of money in that because so many websites are driven by WordPress, like so many out there. And a lot of developers don't want to mess around with WordPress. So it's one of these, it's like the 800-pound gorilla niche in the room. You're going to make a lot of money as a WordPress professional developer. That means you got to know your web stack, HTML5, CSS3, a bit of JavaScript, and PHP. Because PHP is the, they've created WordPress with PHP. What are some must-do projects for hobbit devs? Or is that hobbyist or hobbits? So you better clarify that for me. Quiz time. What does no and NoSQL stand for? Well, I think it's the NoSQL proponents don't like the SQL language, which is the language of relational databases. They don't like the idea with NoSQL databases. You don't have to design your tables, which is could be time-consuming and requires some good skills there. Whatever. I like your tutorial, Grandpa. There you go. I have exams for ERD, entity relationship diagrams, next week. How would you recommend studying this? Some books or anything? Yeah, I would do some basic tutorials that you can find online and actually build some, just build it. Don't read, build. Like, come up with an idea and then build it. That's going to teach you the concepts and is going to so much more quickly than just trying to read it and absorb it that way. All right, John Baker. Let's see what John Baker has to say. Hey, I'm 15 and would like to get a dev job. All right, man. Good age to start. Fantastic age to be, by the way. 15 years old. I know HTML, CSS, JS, Node, React, PHP, Laravel. Whoa, I have built 2 real paid sites for businesses. So I think getting a full-time job might be difficult at 15, but why don't you just keep freelancing? Just keep freelancing, and and you'll be in a good situation. You're 15, eh? Okay, you're 15 years old. How are we going to do this? You're 15 years old, John Dev. I'm trying to figure out a way. I'm going to give you access to my freelancing course without paying. But I know we're going to get some guys on here trying to get in. So what I would do is email me at Stefan at Studioweb with your name, and I will your display name, and I will give you access to my freelance course so you can understand about freelancing. But freelancing would, I think, be easier route for you at this time. Hi, Shah Aman, excuse me. How to take care of your health when you are really busy as a developer? Very good questions. You should go here. Where is it now? Okay, so there's this go. I'm going to show you a site I'm involved with. My friend, it's free. And that's what we actually put together. We actually put together a program just on that. There we go. Okay, now they're asking for... Can you guys hear me clearly, by the way? I hope you can. So this is a site you want to go to. It's called thebodydeveloper.com. And yeah, it's a program that we put together. It's free. And it teaches you how to stay in shape with it's mostly about diet and nutrition, and it's quite easy to do, and you will lose a lot of weight. And it's you know, anybody will tell you health is more about nutrition than anything else. So yeah, so go to thebodydeveloper.com, sign up for this newsletter here. It's free, and you can watch this 5 tips to lose weight video. That will help you out. So yeah, there you go. That's my answer to that one. All right, what else do we got here? Piaz says, some people say web dev is a dead profession here in 2021 because of Wix and similar things. Some people don't know what they are talking about. There is so much work in web development. Wix and Squarespace and WordPress are just tools that you can use as a professional web dev professional. There's always different levels of services that you can provide. I've showed in previous streams where there are jobs, high-paid jobs, where you be a Wix implementer, a Wix professional. Those tools are limited, by the way. They're very limited. When WordPress came out years ago, a lot of people thought the same thing. Oh no, WordPress is going to come out and that's going to be the end of development. Didn't happen. It actually created a lot more jobs. Yeah, 75 people. I appreciate some likes, guys. Give me some thumbs up. It's just good for the Google algorithm. All right, so what else we got for questions? How are you doing today? I am doing good, Bailey. Thanks for asking. I hope you guys are doing well as well. How can I get better at Java? Should I be doing more coding problem or make projects? Make projects, but I don't know what projects to make. I would go out there and on Upwork or something and just offer if you're still learning, just offer your services for free. Say, I'll do some Java work for you, and just take it from there. The key to getting better at coding is to actually code real projects. Don't get caught up in tutorial hell. That is my recommendation. All right, before I go on, we're 20 minutes in. I want to show you something else. All right, so body developer, if you want to lose weight, etc., you want to go here. Okay, that's cool. And now, what else I got here? So I put out this new thing. So Lizard Wizard Komodo. So what is this? This is a free program that I put out where I deliver emails to you. You're going to get an email every 2 to 3 days. And in that email, you're going to have a little training that is based on Lizard Wizard principles. This is advanced psychology and communications training. And yeah, so it's free. You sign up and you're going to get access to this program. It lasts about 2 weeks. You get an email every 2 to 3 days, something like that. And at the end of the period, you will have done a lot in terms of training your mind. And then we're going to have a live stream where we're going to talk about the results people are having. So it should be a lot of fun, a lot of funny little tasks to do. And it's all designed to train your brain and help you with your coding, with learning to code, help you with your anxieties, so many other things. It's based on my Lizard Wizard course that I put out recently. So anyway, it's free. Lizard Wizard Komodo, just go to this URL here. There's a link below the stream. So that's number 1. Number 2, more free content for you guys. Again, the links are below. I got a webinar. It's called A Coder's Career Path. I put it out like a week or so ago, and a lot of people have watched it, and they like it. Basically, you sign up for free. It's a 29-minute video lesson, and I talk about how different programming languages will impact the type of work that you're going to do and the type of programming you're going to do. So, for example, if you're writing C++ code, it's a very different game than if you're writing, say, JavaScript code. So this is a 29-minute webinar you get immediate access to when you sign up, and it will go through all that. So again, links are below. Why am I doing newsletters now? Because I want to be in direct contact with the audience. I've heard so many times from people that YouTube doesn't send out notifications when I put out content. So it just makes sense that we have a direct connection. Anyway, So there you go. Those are two things I want to point out. So Lizard Wizard, which is a fun training program for the mind, and you got the Coder's Career Path, which people tend to like. So let's get back to some Q&A. Bailey says, I just quit my job to go full-time on freelance web dev and indie game dev. Is it better for my mental health? If it could be, if you like that independence, the choice between working for somebody or being a freelancer, it's largely a personal taste thing, depending on your personality type. So give it a go, man. Try it, It could very well be, because you got a lot of freedom. Do you still deal with programmers' depression, or is that just a young thing? I never had programmers' depression. I think that's a larger issue. I think if people are getting depressed, it's not because of programming. It's that's just they would have been depressed in other areas. For that reason, you should be doing my my Komodo here, Lizard Wizard Komodo. You should be doing that for sure, because that's going to help you with your depression. It's going to help you with how you feel. This is super important. If you know people have coders or programmers depression, send them here. It's free. Newsletter.stefanmischer.com. Komodo, the link below. This is going to teach you how to start training your mind and will help with depression. That's for sure. So yeah, I highly recommend that. All right, PewDiePie 2, Electric Boogaloo. Hi, I'm Diego, and I'm a 25-year-old engineer. I do specialize on Next.js, but big companies don't want to hire me. Why don't they want to hire you? It depends. Is it your resume? Is it your background? I don't know. Just keep working at it if you want to work for a big company. The best way to get into big companies is do really good work for small companies. Okay, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, because I'm getting audio warnings from my software here, so I'm glad it's not... You're a good man, Stef Sheehan. Is it possible to freelance with Upwork as a full-time job? I know some people do. I feel like the majority of clients there are looking for cheapest labor. That's true, but when you stand out, you start picking out the good clients, right? As soon as one with 7 years experience, I can't compete with that. Well, you start off slow, Martin, and you start few simple gigs. As I say, you set up your website, which showcases your work. You start developing reputation. You start reaching out to local businesses. You start maybe do some artwork where you get some experience. Everybody has to do the cheap jobs just to earn your stripes, if you will. It's an old expression, means you just gotta, everybody's gotta go through that stage where you're not making a ton of money at first. But if you just do the first 3 or 4 projects where, some could be free, and then things will start to roll for you. That's the way it goes, especially in a freelance game. It's kind of like this, you're not making too much, then boom, all of a sudden you're making a lot, then boom, you're making a lot. You got that? How's that bokeh hand? This is bokeh hand. You have to spend at least $10,000 on your camera to get this quality of bokeh hand. All right. Have you lost the will to keep programming? Well, at some point you can have programmers burnout if you've been working really, really hard at it and you haven't switched it up. You have an unbalanced lifestyle. Then you could get burnout. You can get burnout with anything if you don't mix it up a little bit and take breaks. So I recommend that all the time. So if you like the stream, give me a thumbs up. If you hate my haircut, give me 2 thumbs down. Nicholas says, hey Stefan, I'm getting ready to graduate from a coding bootcamp in a couple of weeks and would love to get some more info on your freelancing course. Well, it's very inexpensive. Buy me a couple cups of coffee, you get it. The freelancing course teaches everything that you need to know, but it's also a project management course. It teaches you how to manage a project, not just from the code end, but from the work end and even from the client management end. So it's really pretty comprehensive. I should raise the price, actually. So I recommend you get it. Yeah. And congratulations from completing or almost completing your boot camp. Good stuff. How much sleep should I be getting? Depends on you, but I imagine 6 to 8 hours seems optimal. Aaron Kenny. Hey, Aaron. Good evening, good sir. With so many website building platforms and content management systems to choose from, what are the most important criteria to consider when deciding which one to use? Penetration in the marketplace, I think, is the big one. Penetration to marketplace. Generally speaking, my default, even with its problems, I say WordPress, simply because it's so widely used and it would open up all kinds of job opportunities for you. That's it. Whenever you're considering technology, you also have to consider the job opportunities. That's a big part of it. You have to consider the job opportunities. What's going on? Pablo Pasin Massa. Let's see what he has to say. I'm 49, and because of COVID, starts relearning programming after 20 years. There we go. But I'm not too sure what language or way take in this big universe. There's many information. Well, that's it, Pablo. The problem that you guys have today is there's so much information out there. We live in like a period of time where that's tons of information. When I was learning this stuff back in the day, the interwebs were pretty bad at the time. You search for anything, it would come up porn. You search for banana recipe, porn. You search for Java, porn. You search for anything would be porn. So nowadays you have, like with the Google and Stack Overflow and all these other resources, YouTube, you have tons of information now. The problem is you have tons of information. A lot of new information, not too good. And a lot of people saying you should learn this language or that language or this language or that language. I will give you the formula right now how to choose what is the best technology choices for you. Number one, you look at the job opportunities in the area you want to work. You may think that Flash and ActionScript is the best language ever, but you're probably never going to find jobs in that. So you have to consider that, number one. Number two, you have to consider the type of programming you want to do. C++ is a worthy language, so is JavaScript. But if you're writing C++ code, it's a whole different type of project than if you're writing JavaScript code. And it also implies typically a different type of job environment. So again, you should go to, everybody should do Lizard Wizard Komodo, but you should go watch my Coder's Career Paths webinar. It's free. You sign up and you get access to a 29-minute video. It's going to explain, it's going to break down all the languages, the type of work you're going to do, JavaScript, Java, C#, C++, Swift, PHP, etc., Python. So it breaks it all down for you. It's very information-packed video. Will help you make those decisions. Coder Career Path. I'm doing the newsletters now and email addresses because I want to be in direct contact with everybody, because I've heard too many times people don't get notifications from YouTube. So there you go. So yeah, check that out. That will answer a lot of your questions without a doubt. What are some must-do projects that allow you to grow your fundamental skills regardless of language? Well, you can't say regardless of language because, for example, C++ coding, you're not going to be doing web stack with that, right? In JavaScript, you're not going to be doing IoT devices, So it does, you just pick a path that's good for you. Like you should go watch that webinar I just talked about. You should go because it's going to help you understand what the different languages, how they're positioned in the industry. You pick one. I recommend the web stack because I think there's a much more flexibility in terms of jobs out there and in terms of type of coding which you're going to do. Again, go to that webinar. It's free. You watch that 29 minutes, you're going to get all those answers for you. So it really depends. Denise Balchi says, Grandmaster, I try to be software engineer. What should I do better for data structures and algorithms? you write, you write code, and you start building things. Depending on the type of software engineering you're going to do, you may find yourself doing very little algorithms and just very basic data structures work, besides arrays and so forth. So again, the key is writing code. The analogy I always like to make is MMA or boxing or Thai boxing. I used to do that. I did martial arts for decades. There are two types of people who train at a gym. There are people I call the pad hitters, and they would train, you got one guy holding pads and the other guy is punching at the pads or the heavy bags, they're hitting the heavy bags. So you got these one group of guys and girls who just hit the pads, boom, 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 boom. And they're thinking they're improving their skills. They think that they're going to become better fighters, but when they actually step in the ring and do the real thing, they realize that all that pad hitting didn't really help too much with regards to actually being a fighter. Then the other group of people just jump in the ring. They get their fundamentals, then they jump in the ring, they start fighting. The people who get in the ring, who do the real thing, whether it's boxing, MMA, or building applications, the people who jump in the ring and learn as you go, after you have your fundamentals down, they will leapfrog ahead. I used to say one sparring session, 3 rounds, is worth months of training hitting the pads in terms of your development. Same thing with software development. One project completed for a real client, even a small project, is worth months of doing tutorials. I hope that helps. Let's go on. What was your first job as a developer and how much did it pay? And also, how old were you? Well, I wrote my first code for my own business, so I guess that doesn't count. I got my first freelance gig after I sold out of my first business. I was in my mid-20s, I think. And I don't forget, it's been such a long time. I don't remember how much I made. It wasn't a great amount of money, but that's the way it is. When you do your first jobs, your first gigs, you're going to make much less than you will just a year later, because you're starting out and your skills are raw. So you got to pay your dues, Anish Joshi, or Joshi, love from Nepal. Well, Nepal, thanks for joining, dude. I have to tell you, I get a kick that we're people from Nepal and Indonesia and Malaysia and India and Europe and North America and US. People from all over the world watching. It's always a lot of fun. All right. I want to learn how to make APIs. Where do I get started? Well, you start with the basics of the web. I would do the web, of course. And then from there, you maybe get deep into JavaScript or Python or PHP. All right. I would, greetings from a faraway land of the Bronx. Yeah, very cool. I haven't been to New York City in years. I got to head down there at some point. Hey, Stefan, I'm interested in your mentoring program. $49 a month seems pretty fair price, but I don't see any indications on the time needed to complete. Can you give more info? Thanks. That depends on you. See, my mentoring program is based on modern educational technique. I've been working with schools for over a decade now, providing a curriculum into schools through the Studioweb platform. And so there is actually a skill to teaching, and there are different methodologies of education. And most schools, unfortunately, due to limitations I won't get into now, they still teach in the old way where you have to show up at a particular time. Everybody learns JavaScript at the same time. Or if everybody's, this week we're going to learn about functions. Everybody learns functions. And then the next week we're going to learn about objects, et cetera, et cetera. That's the old way of doing it. Boot camps operate that way, unfortunately. It makes no sense. Modern education, and we know this from all the studies and research, it's much better if everybody learns at their own pace. So to answer your question with the mentoring program, some people get their first jobs within a few months. Some people will take 6 months or longer. With the mentoring program, it's for life, by the way. You have access for life. We have the monthly payments, the $49.99, or the higher end, the $79.99. It's just to spread out the payments. We also have a lump sum payment you pay up front and you save money. It's just to break down the payments to make it accessible for everybody. And once you finish paying your 12 payments, you still have access to everything for life. So whether it takes you 3 months to get your first job, or 6 months, or a year, doesn't matter. It's up to you how fast you want to learn, because everybody's going to learn at their own pace. So right now in the mentoring group, I'm taking on new people now. We have people who, some people are doing Python Django work. Some people are doing WordPress freelancing. Some people are getting ready to do a job. Some people are just starting out HTML5. But they can all learn at the same time because of the modern structure of the system. One of the big advantages of the mentoring is, and this is what people tell me in the group, is that we have the Zoom meetings every 2 weeks. Private Zoom meetings where you can get your resume looked over, your demo website, ask detailed questions. It's very, so it's very interactive. So it depends on you how long it's going to take. Thanks for asking. And you know what? I'll do a little shameless plug. Hold on, where is it? Boom. So you go to Studioweb/mentoring. You can learn all about my mentoring program, watch a video, learn about all the benefits, right here. Lifetime access, learn pro level HTML5, CS3, JavaScript, PS6, Python 3, PHP 8, SQL, learn data structures, etc. 300 lessons, 1,000 quiz questions, certifications. You learn soft skills too, job interview prep, resume building, landing your first job, freelancing. We got a private support group, we have private mentoring videos, private consultations are options. We got super high reviews you can see here. So yeah, you go there, check it out. So anyway, studioweb.com/mentoring. That's my most comprehensive training that I provide. That's the bee's knees. I think it's my best ever. So I've been doing this for about a year. We have a good solid group and new people are joining all the time. Every day, in fact, we're getting new people. And if you're serious about learning how to code, you want to become a professional developer, and you want that support and that training, that's the program. All right, enough of the ad. Good evening, Kevin. Hey, Sadiq, how are you? Sadiq Salah, I hope everything is good. After you're completing your web dev course, are there other skills you recommend for freelance WordPress dev? Yeah, I would get into, do my freelance course, learn project management in that course, learn client management, very important. I would also get into my psychology education, which is the Lizard Wizard stuff. Links are below. Again, I'll show it one last time here. Where is it now? Lizard Wizard Komodo. Yeah, this is the free one. This is going to teach you how to communicate better. It's going to help you understand all that. Interpersonal skills, soft skills as they call it, are very important in coding life. What programming languages are best for SaaS? I would, especially if I'm bootstrapping something, I would pick one of the dynamic languages, whether it be Python and Django, or PHP Laravel, or Node.js, JavaScript. Why? Because you want speed of development, boom, 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 fast. Those are what I would use. And they're very powerful. They can all scale now, and they all do very good. Hey, no problem, dude. I'm here to help. How are we doing for time? All right, 40 minutes. Wow, time flies. Hey, 40 minutes already. Do you need to be able to create WordPress themes to be a freelance WordPress dev, or is it okay to just use templates? Thanks, Stefan. You can just use templates if you can convince the client that the templates are good. A lot of times I would recommend using templates. So a client comes to you, here's a scenario, says, I want to build an exercise site. So you say, no problem. So you can say, what kind of features do you need? What do you want to expose on your WordPress exercise site? You write it down. And then you go out there in template world and you find templates that would kind of correspond with what they want. And then you come back to the client and say, here's some templates. Now I could build it from scratch, you say, but it's going to cost you much more. So we can take these templates and modify them and get your site up much more quickly, and it'll save you a lot of money. That pretty much will nail the sale, right? Yeah. That being said, you should still learn your basic of the web stack, HTML5, CSS3, a little bit of JavaScript, but maybe some PHP 2 will help a little bit. Just be able to tinker with things and learn the basics of theming, how the themes are built and so on. Just the basics, and you should be good. But yeah, to answer your question, you don't need to build from scratch, and I recommend starting from templates if you can get it to work. Remember, the top 3 rules of coding are reuse, reuse, reuse. So reuse. All right, we'll see. Dudify, do you think that's easy to get a job as junior backend developer with Python? Dudify. That's weird. It's not going to be as easy as once you have some experience, but that's okay. You can just work towards it. Do you think there's a place for learning assembly language? There's probably jobs out there for assembler, in all honesty. If you like that kind of programming, I don't know if you do. It's probably a lot of jobs. I am learning PHP right now. Is it worth continue learning PHP if I want to freelance? Yeah, PHP is the GOAT for freelancing. PHP is GOAT for freelancing. There's no question. Best. Great choice. The question is how you view yourself. Learn what is required and deliver 2.5 times X that. Yeah, exactly. I agree 100%. No. Studioweb courses are worth it. That's for sure. Okay, what else do we got here? How bad is ageism in programming? Are there many old programmers? It is a factor. There's no question about it. It depends on the type of business you go work for. I have friends who are in their mid-50s who are still programming, and they're doing fine. Yeah, I think that if you're starting out programming, to get in there, if you don't have a professional background elsewhere, you might find some difficulty. But so freelance is very much an option open to you, or consulting as well. But you can get around. I know people in older are able to get jobs and do well. All right. Is it true one can boost developer skills more quickly in Office versus freelance, especially for new developers? I don't know. It depends on the office. Depends how supportive they are. Depends if the developers are going to work with you. The positive thing is you work in an office. You can learn from other guys and girls around you. But the problem could also be that they just pigeonhole you into a very specific track where you're just doing the same type of stuff over and over again. So it really depends. Whereas freelance, if you're able to if you're self-motivated and you can go out there and just pick up gigs and learn all kinds of different things, Hi, sure. Should I switch from Laravel to MERN-stack? I don't know. I haven't used MERN. Laravel is fine. I don't see what it is you'd want to do with MERN that you can't do with Laravel. My second project upward was a $1,000 Trustpilot clone for which I developed both front and back end React and Laravel. Design was provided to me by a client. Hey, fantastic, Barton. It's cool. So did you make decent money on it for your time? That was the key, right? But yeah, that's good. Sounds like a good project. Good stuff. What do you think is more realistic price for such a project? Oh, I would have to look at the specification. I would have to look at all the feature sets and so on. $1,000 seems pretty cheap. That's okay, especially if you're just starting out. That's fine, Also depends where you live. In some cities, a house will cost you $1 million. In other cities, a house will cost you $60,000. So, depending on where you live, the money may be good or bad, WordPress is slow though, but yeah, an easy way to earn money. Yeah, exactly. Okay, what are we doing here? How are we doing for time? 47 minutes. All right, so I'm going to be winding down the stream. Do you recommend building a custom CMS solution in 2021? Only if you want to get into the CMS business and you see an opportunity. If you see an opportunity for some sort of niche CMS, then sure. I don't know if there is. PHP worth learning for backend or just Node? It depends on the job opportunity. PHP is the king of freelance, as far as I can tell. So, is there a course for C++ process? I don't know. There must be. There must be. What should I do with bad customers who try to undercut my prices? Well, that's why you got to go out there, and it's like dating. You want to have many options. You want to go out there and find many clients, and with many clients, you'll be able to bid up your prices. 169-year-old. That's back when the Dead Sea was still sick. Laugh out loud. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember those days. Do you teach blockchain? I do not teach blockchain development. Just learn how to code. Learn, I think blockchain, they're doing that a lot in C++. I wouldn't be surprised they're doing some Python blockchain coding too, but I've imagined C++. So learn the language first. Denny says, thanks for helping and advice. Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, how are we doing for time? Okay. Is it good to learn with a friend? Sure, you can work together. You could work together. There might be some accountability there, like a gym buddy. So I think it would be good. Hey, how you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Oh, we got a super chat. All right, thanks. Mr. Electric Boogaloo, super chat. MX10 from PewDiePie. I appreciate that. I'm glad I could help with your questions. All right, coffee's on Electric Boogaloo. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Greetings. All right, Robert. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate that. I will have a coffee, and I'll think about the Electric Boogaloo when I'm drinking the coffee. 100%. You recommend doing projects instead of tutorial hell. What projects are suitable for a beginner, as it's hard to know what is possible? Well, I'll tell you what I do in Studioweb. So after they do the fundamentals, in the fundamentals, you're doing projects as you're doing JavaScript, as you're doing Python, as you're doing you're building things. So you're building a little game in Python. You're building a responsive website in the CSS3 course, etc. After that, I provide a whole bunch of projects. I'm about to deprecate a bunch of them because I'm not a big believer in doing too many projects. So we have a few projects that I'm keeping. They're older, the project, but they're still good. Form validation with JavaScript and PHP, so you understand how PHP and JavaScript interact together and how to validate form input. How to create tag cloud with PHP. How to create a simple login system with PHP MVC, Model View Controller, and also traditional procedural method. And then after that, I say you should just go out there and do the real thing now. You got to understand, as a developer, a lot of the process of being a developer is there's a discovery process. There's a process where you are figuring out how exactly you're going to put that project together, because no two projects are exactly the same. There's always a bit of creativity involved. That's the fun part. That's the fun part about being a dev. So your job as the dev is to be aware of the options out there, but you're only going to know a limited amount. No developer knows much more than this. Nobody knows everything. It's impossible. But at least you're aware of it. You're aware of what PHP Laravel can do for you, or what WordPress can do, what it can't do. You're aware of what Node is and Express, example. You're aware of Vue or React when it makes sense to use that. You're aware of Bootstrap. It doesn't mean you have to be an expert in these things. You just have to be aware of them. And then what happens, that combined with the fundamentals, you can then figure out for a particular project whether you might use PHP Laravel, or you might just use WordPress, or you might need to go with Node and Express, etc., etc., etc. I hope that answers that question. All right. Stefan, just watched some of your free coder webinar. Wow. All right, cool. I appreciate that. Thanks. Yeah, just so if you guys don't know, let me just shamelessly. So first of all, I got my free Lizard Wizard Komodo, which is psychology training. It's very cool. You should check that out. Sign up. You start getting emails every 2-3 days with a little psychology task to do. It's fun, actually. And then this is what he's talking about: the Coder's Career Path webinar. It's a video, 29 minutes free. Sign up, you get immediate access, and it goes over all the languages. It teaches you, you know, what kind of work you can expect if you're doing C++ versus what kind of work and what kind of job you can expect if you're doing JavaScript, etc., 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 etc. It's a good video to watch if you're new to the game and you want to get your head wrapped around the world of development. Okay, so I would recommend that. All right, we got. Did you say just 50 a month for mentoring? Did you say 50 a month? Did you just, yes, yeah, my mentoring program, we do have, oh, here it is, hold on, boom, this one here, if you go to Studioweb/mentoring, there's a link below, and yeah, you can watch the webinar, you can learn about the details here. Yeah, where is it? Yeah, checkout options. Yeah, so we have 3 options. One payment, $79.99 for lifetime access, or $79.99 for the premium access, 12 monthly payments, then you have access for life, or $49.99 a month for 12 months, again, giving you access for life. After you finish the 12-month payment, you still have full access to everything for life. So it's very affordable. So yeah, check out the mentoring program. I'm signing people up now. People are joining every day. And I'm going to take as many people until I can't. Depends on, you know, workload, you know. Yeah, exactly. Take advantage of the lockdown. I'm doing all kinds of back office stuff now since I'm locked down, so why not? You know? Hey, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Very cool. Welcome to the stream, Drew. I've only done little bits of JavaScript and Python. Okay, it's talking to each other. I'm just answering questions here. Any recommendations on Lua? I have not used Lua, so I don't know, Drew. Again, my philosophy about all this development, these are all tools, all these languages, and I would look at markets first, do a little market research, job opportunities, before I would jump into any particular language. But if you're just interested in it, just learn it. Why not? Have fun. Give me your Discord. Let's talk. I have a year with Java. Give me your Discord. Okay, so it's a conversation. Chad says Friday nights with the Mishchuk. Yeah. Okay, I'm interested. How can I look them up? I don't know. I know Christian. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Links below. If you're interested in anything I'm talking about, there's links below. What is the total package course? What is the total package course, Stefan, and link? It's the mentoring program. The link is below the stream. You see it right here. In fact, it's right here. Studioweb.com/mentoring. You can learn all about it there. And it's my most advanced training. If you want to be mentored by me. What's the name of your website? I want to sign up, Christopher. Yeah, I just said that. Again, it's Studioweb mentoring, studioweb.com/mentoring. There's going to be a link below this stream video, so you have that there. Hold on. All right, let me switch back. All right. Where would you recommend learning C++ for semi-experienced developer who has already learned C somewhat? I think you could find a good book or a good course if you already have some programming. See, there's so many coding courses out there. Problem is, it's a landmine for beginners, for noobs, because most of the people teaching these courses don't know how to teach, and most of them are not developers in the real world. But if you already have some experience, then you can learn quickly from some of these tutorials. If you have a good grasp of fundamentals of C, you may be able to just go to the C++ website or some, on Microsoft or something and learn right there off their docs very easily. Yeah, whenever I learn a new language, I don't need to get a course. I just go to the, if I was learning Python, I would go to python.org and just download Python and follow their hello world and just go along with that, or watch some YouTube videos. Yeah, that's it. That's the goal of my training, by the way. I want people to get up to speed with the fundamentals and they can learn whatever they want on their own quite easily. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Mr. Gaming has to say. Hiroshi Gaming. Wow. I have done a little data structures and algorithm, Java, Python, C, C++. I want to get better at data structures and algorithms in Java. How should be my roadmap to do DS Algo and Java in 3 months? I would pick a language and just work on one language and work on algorithms and data structures. Just write code. Pick one language, because you jump around a lot, you're adding an extra level. Because algorithms are algorithms. They're the same across the languages with some minor differences. It's all conceptual understanding. So writing code is the key. All right, how are we doing here? Status of data scientist job market in 2021. My observation is that many Indian IT companies preparing data analyst background for data science roles. A big part of being a developer is having good communication skills. There are great developers from India for sure, but the problem that most of them have is, in terms of getting jobs in the West, is language. There's subtleties, especially English. They speak English well, but Indian English is different from North American English. A lot of subtleties in the communication styles and so forth. So if you're looking, I assume, to get a job in the West and you're worried about Indian competition, there's always competition around the entire world. But as I stress over and over again, good interpersonal skills are huge. That's why, I put out this whole, this is free. It's not really a plug because it's free, but my Lizard Wizard Komodo, it's brain training. It's beginning of great interpersonal skills, psychological skills, handling stress and emotions. It's fun, by the way. You get an email every 3 days, 2-3 days, and you get a task to complete. And it's going to help you start training your brain and your emotions, which will help you to be a better communicator, which will help you make more money and get more jobs. How are we doing here? All right, an hour in. Oh, wow, an hour like this. What are suitable projects? Yeah, I think did I get into it? You recommend doing projects that are tutorial. What project is suitable for? As a beginner, it's hard to know what is possible. Just pick something. Start something small. Just pick it. Do something small. You learn as you go. That's why I recommend to everybody in the mentoring group, one of the things I have people do is once they do the fundamental trainings, the hundreds of videos and the quizzing and the certifications, etc., and they do their own personal site, I say, go out there and do 2 to 3 free freelance jobs, little jobs, 1-week jobs, 2-week jobs, max. You're going to learn so much doing that. You're going to learn as you go. You won't know how to do half the stuff, but that's why you get the mentoring group. If you don't know how to approach something, you just come into the mentoring group, and we have our Zoom meetings bi-weekly, and you can ask me questions personally. So, if you're at one level, you can ask me, you can schedule a consultation with me personally. So, you just got to go out there and just do the real thing. There's this leap of faith you have to make as a developer. There's a point where you have to kick away the tutorials and get into the real job, and just understand you won't know everything as a developer, and your job as a developer is not to know everything. Your job as a developer is just to be able to figure out the problem and solve it. You don't have to know everything, okay? So don't worry about that. Is Python a good language for a first language? Yes, it is. It's a great language for a first language. Check out below for my Python course. Maybe you do a video on quitting your day job, especially if the job scheduling is constant overtime. Yeah, I would transition. you don't want to just drop the old job, especially if you need the money. You want to transition, make sure the new job is lined up. I'm actually doing a talk on April 7th for a big Indian educational institution, and whose name I forget. And I'm going to be talking about, they asked me to talk about the pros and cons of bootstrapping a business versus VC money. I'm a bootstrapper, but former Studioweb mentor students of mine, they are VC people. They've raised tens of millions of dollars via VC firms. So in that lecture, I'm going to discuss the pros and cons of both approaches to business, how the type of business may suggest that a certain type that you go VC, or another type of business may suggest might be better off just to bootstrap it, how to approach it, etc. So I'm going to post on my YouTube community a link to whatever that presentation is, if it's public. I'm not sure if it's public. So anyway, there you go. All right. So let's finish stuff off. All right. I guess you like the link. Thanks, man. Good. Got a job as a data engineer. You did? Well, congratulations. Lokish 9. Should I choose C# or C++ for game development? Depends on the jobs, right? I would do like 1 week of C# training, and then do a week of C++ training, and see which one you like better. And then whichever one you like better, then continue down that route with that language. But also look at job opportunities and see where the demand is, because depending on where you are in the world, you may find there's more demand for C++, et cetera, et cetera. That's the process. All right, so we're going to be finishing this off. Johnny says, what are your thoughts on Julia will compete with Python? I don't think so. I think Python is so dominant now in space. I don't think there's going to be any particular language that will replace Python for what it does. I really don't. And as I've said in several other streams and live videos, I think that the top languages today, they've been the top languages for so long, and I don't see in the horizon anything replacing them. I think they've reached, the technology stack has reached, the IT technology stack has reached plateau. So the cast of characters we'll probably see in 5 years, Python will be number 1 or 2 or 3, then JavaScript, then Java, and C++, C, PHP, did I mention Python? Yeah. Those languages, they're not going anywhere, like nowhere. You're safe with all of them. C#, they're not going anywhere. No chance. They're just too powerful now in terms of their market share. Alex says, new developer here. I just started my first my first dev job, excuse me. Congratulations. Cool. How do you deal with imposter syndrome? There's a few things. First of all, understand that when you're learning how to code and you're first starting, nobody knows everything. Second of all, coding is an error-prone process. People make errors. As you get better, you'll make less and less errors, but everybody understands that. Yeah, so those are 2 big ones right there. Another thing you do is, that's just a basic psychological thing. And again, I'll say it again, you should sign up, it's free. Go to my newsletter here, newsletter.stefanmisha.com/Komodo. It's a free psychology training program. It's going to teach you to relax your emotions, calm yourself down, help you with anxiety and communication. It's free. Try it out. It's a brand new type of training that I'm doing. It's email based, and it's I think it's how many weeks do I have now? I have about 2 weeks worth, maybe 3. And then after we do this beta run, then we're going to have a live stream discussing it, and then I'm probably going to expand it. So far, people are really liking it. I just launched this a couple days ago, I think. So check it out. Lizard Wizard Komodo. Links below. Is Ruby a reliable language for most projects or jobs? Jackson is obviously new to this channel. I'm just kidding. We have a little Ruby joke going around here. Yeah, Ruby, the problem is that it doesn't scale very well. And it craps out quickly when you put pressure on it. But a lot of great apps have been created with Ruby. So, you can't argue that. It's fallen out of favor. It's becoming a niche language. So I would look at local job opportunities. But the Rails framework and Ruby, they're cool. There's no question about it. But they're becoming more nicheified. Whether or not you care about that, I don't know. But yeah, that's my take on that. How are we doing? All right. Why are people saying COVID will end when it's a year later? I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. There's all this too much disparate data, too many variables. It's become political, unfortunately, and so science is heavily, or the perception of science, shall I say, is heavily influenced by politics now, which is emotions. Here's a little Lizard Wizard tip. Lizard Wizard is my psychology training course. I have a background in this stuff. I'm not a psychologist, but I studied in university. When you feel emotional about a subject, whatever the subject is, you are guaranteed that your perceptions of reality are being altered given your emotions. We're very tribal. It's in our lizard brain. So there, in my Lizard Wizard course, not the Komodo project I talked about, but my actual course, that's in the mentoring program, by the way. I teach how you can help discern reality more accurately so you can make more accurate judgments. You basically want to learn to calm down your emotional responses to things. So yeah, with regards to COVID, unfortunately, it's very emotional now. It's very political. People are very scared. And so that's why you're seeing all this weird data flying around. And it's going to take probably a couple of years before we really figure out what's going on, if ever. I don't know when it's going to end. And I say that because I'll just use the states as examples. Texas and Florida, Florida itself hasn't locked down, and they're doing better than a lot of lockdown states. Go figure, right? I don't know. Some people say Florida's lying about the data. I don't know about that. But there's clearly a lot of variables out there with regards to COVID, but we don't know yet. That being said, I say, you got to look at risk reward and all this type of things. And, I've been social distancing for years now. I used to get throat infections every year. So starting about 15 years ago, I started elbow, no more shaking hands. I would elbow and wear gloves all the time, just like wool gloves in the winter time and in the spring and the fall. Do not touch doors, don't wipe my face, and I stopped getting sick. So I am a big believer in that, no matter what, COVID or not. So anyway, to answer your question. Unfortunately, politics gets into everything. People get into fights over whether they're going to use Android or iOS, so I just got to go, whatever. Faisal Sama I have a little bit long question. I will split into two chats. Well, see what you can do. How are we doing for time? We have to. Okay, I'll answer your question. I'll see what we can do here. What are my chances of getting a job in Canada or U.S.? Honestly, love your channel and appreciate the session. Well, it depends on your educational background. It depends on your resume. It depends on your communication skills. I'm not an expert in that type of thing. If you have high value skills and you have a good resume, if you can show concrete skill sets, etc., your chances will increase quite a bit. For example, where I'm from, Quebec, they're very language oriented here. They want to protect the French language, and so they favor French speakers from abroad, Psychological learning, exactly. Yeah, it's very important stuff. One of the reasons Studioweb is successful in schools is because I designed it based on modern practices, and there's a lot of psychology in that. The gamification, the way the system interacts with the students, etc. All right, Faisal. I am 21 and I'm from Saudi Arabia. I started looking for a job, and the job market isn't good in here. So what are my options? Keep improving your skill sets. Improve your resume site. Start reaching out to people. It's a numbers game. It's like dating. The more you approach, you try to date, the more chances you're gonna get a girlfriend. I don't know what the culture is in Saudi Arabia in that regard, but I imagine it's pretty much the same. I don't know, but the same thing with jobs. The more you reach out, the more you improve your game in terms of getting jobs. The more you improve your skill sets, etc., communication skills, the more chance you have. So you just gotta keep working at it. Don't feel bad, by the way. This is like the worst time in history, right, with COVID and so forth, Hey, Christy, how are you? I swear I'm always late. Well, it's not your fault. I'm always erratic with my streams. Consistency is key. Learn from me. When I was consistent with my streaming, I would get 300 people at a time. Now we're down about 90, 100. We get 160 depending on the night. I hope everything is well for you. And we're pretty good. C++ is a gateway to Python. Okay, let's see what the Tolu has to say. Confused newbie, not a CS student. Plan to become an app developer starting with Java, and it's not expressive or fun to write, to be honest. Do you think I should drop it for JavaScript? Yeah, try JavaScript out, but you have to learn HTML5 and CSS3. Before you do JavaScript, because a lot of JavaScript work is interacting with those two languages as well. Yeah, I think JavaScript will be easier to approach, maybe Python. Check it out. I invite you to check out my courses below. What if the final goal of getting the dev job is immigration? In that case, freelance would be just a waste of time. Not necessarily, because if you could build up a real good freelance site with a stable of clients, that might create connections, especially if you get clients in North America or Europe, depending where you want to go. And that might open up connections and reputation, which could help you with your job, your immigration goals. That's my guess. Why is your data token hard-coded into your Ajax code? I don't know what you're referring to. I haven't been to Starbucks since COVID. Well, it doesn't have to be Starbucks. I think you're referring to Komodo, the first task. Okay. Stefan, what is the main differences between real-world product and development product? Thank you. No, when I say real-world, I'm talking about developing a project for some real application for a client, or maybe your own project that's going to be used by real people, rather than tutorials. Exactly. Politics and emotions don't mix well. Unfortunately, they go hand in hand. All right, guys, over an hour. I'm going to be winding this down with my little ASMR video. I'll maybe answer one or two questions, and that's it. All right. Todd says, mastering learning methods seems like it would be difficult to develop into a SaaS, or is that what you did? No, that's what I did. It's a lot of subtleties. There may be like, I'm going to sneeze soon, so my apologies. There may be 100 little things in Studioweb that we did that improve the the learning outcomes with the software and the platform. It's not just the software, it's also the code curriculums, the courses, how they're integrated. The software supports the process. I'll just say this. With the first version of Studioweb, when we launched it into the first schools, we had students scoring 60 to 70%, the grade averages, somewhere in that area. So after a couple of years of learning how students would best learn, etc., so we released the new versions with the new content, new curriculum, and new structure, and the courses were even more advanced. They were learning much more, but the grades went up from 60 to 70s to 80s to 90s. So we had much better comprehension and much better retention. And there's a whole bunch of subtle little things, okay? And there you go. All right, I think that's it. That's it. All right, just got distracted by some questions. Thanks for joining the stream. I appreciate it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Again, I suggest you check out my Komodo training here. It's free. Link is below. You can see the link right here. You can freeze this. And if you want to learn about the Coder's Career Path webinar, it's a free 29-minute training. You learn about all the different languages and where they fit in terms of work. So that's kind of cool. If you're interested in my mentoring program, check that out here. And if you're interested in getting in shape, another free service right here if you want. All right, that's it for now. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. And hey, it's Danielle. What's Danielle say? I miss Montreal. C'est une ville cool. Le Québec est une belle province. Ah, Danielle, I guess you're from France, I would imagine. Peace, guys. Thanks for joining. And I'll end off with my ASMR Cape Elizabeth, Maine video here. Thanks for joining the stream.